Hey, it's Amy with Dentsply Sirona. We're continuing the video series for Connect Software 5, and in this video we're going to cover the acquisition phase, which will be acquiring our digital impression. So we've entered the patient, we've moved forward, and now we're going to start the scanning process. Do notice on the screen here that the lower jaw is activated first. The reason for that is because we chose tooth number 31 in our administration phase, and so the computer automatically defaults to the jaw that the restoration is in. So it assumes that you want to take that impression first. If you're doing some pre-op scanning, all you have to do is come over here and click on the jaw or the bite registration if you want to do them out of order. But we're going to do them in order today, so we'll start with the lower jaw. So the camera is going to automatically start when I pick it up, and I'm going to take it in. And we're going to go to the most distal tooth first. I stay right on the occlusion. Then I'm going to roll to the lingual just ever so slightly and come forward. I'm moving at a little slower pace here just for demonstration purposes. We're going to come all the way to the midline. I'm going to come up on that incisal edge just a little bit, roll back on the occlusion. Then I'm going to tip the camera to the facial or buccal just a little bit, come back forward around here to the midline. I'm going to go back, capture this interproximal. We've got to get that data. I'm watching on the screen, making sure that that fills in. Tip this around here. Here we go. Now let's look on the screen here. I do want you to remember this is a three-dimensional object, so I need to look at this in 3 dimensions because if I look here, everything looks great, but I have to remember that I need to roll this around and look at it in the 3 dimensions. So I need to make sure that I've got all critical data around my prep. That all looks really nice. I need to make sure that I've got the interproximals because as the lab designs this crown, it's going to need to know what the neighboring teeth look like so that it can design a nice, firm, tight contact there. Let's tip it over and look at the distal of number 29. That all looks great. We've got complete data here. We can see the little white shining through here. That's actually missing data in the scan, so you're seeing this white screen. If this is crucial data to designing this crown, we need to go back and capture that. I probably would not. It's not wrong to go fill that back in. But it's sort of like having a bubble or a pull in your traditional impression here. Like back here, there's missing data here. The computer will fill this in once we move forward, but if this is critical to the design of this crown, then we need to go fill that in. If it is not, then we can continue on. We've got a really good scan here. Let's look at the lingual. Again, there's a little bit of missing data here on the mesial of these 2 bicuspids. Not important for designing this crown, but if you want to go back in and capture that, we just grab the camera, come back in, and we can capture this really quick. We don't have to rescan the entire mouth. You can kind of jump around just a little bit and fill in any data that you'd like to. Let's get that little hole on the facial there and fill that in. Perfect. There we go. So there's the lower. Now we're going to come to the upper here. Same thing, we're going to start in the distal, come on the lingual. I'm going to speed up here just a little bit. Come to the midline, go back on the occlusion. And you see that I have my finger on the screen there. As I come back on this facial, I want you to watch what happens as I scan over and the computer doesn't see that finger there anymore. It automatically takes it away for me. Let's go back and fill those little holes in back there. Oop. There we go. So it took my finger away. So let's check this really quick. Got good occlusal data. Remember, the lab's going to be designing a crown to fit with those teeth. We need to make sure we have good facial data because when we take our bite registration next, we need to be able to match the teeth together. And then on the lingual, we're missing some data, so let's jump back in there really quick. And again, I don't have to do the whole scan. Just go back to where the data is missing and fill that in. All right, we've got a good opposing scan there. Now let's get our bite. So we would ask the patient to close together. We would assure that they're in their correct occlusion. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to come in. Just going to make just a little circle, getting tissue on the top, soft tissue, hard tissue, top and bottom. Quick little circle, shouldn't take but a few seconds. Now we've completed our scan here. So I'm just going to manipulate this on the screen so we can take a look at it here. What we're seeing here is the upper and the lower jaw articulated together based on that buccal scan. So that buccal scan is sort of like if you take like a blue moose type bite registration, that's what that is. So it is sort of the connector for the upper and lower. And I think of this like a puzzle. So based on the information that I captured with the lower jaw and the upper jaw, the computer was able to sort of put the puzzle together when I showed it how the teeth articulate together. Notice the green check mark down here. I don't want anybody to be fooled or misunderstand what this green check mark means. The green check mark is an indication that the computer has figured out how to put our puzzle together here. It is not telling you that your bite is correct, because we have to remember that the computer knows nothing about the patient that's sitting in the chair. It only knows the information that we've shown it in that lower jaw scan, the upper jaw scan, and the buccal bite registration scan. So if the patient happened to bite down, and remember they're numb, so if they bite down incorrectly, we have to ensure that we either get it corrected or that we're checking it here to make sure that this is their proper occlusion before we move forward. Because again, the computer knows nothing about the patient, so this is sort of a checkpoint that we need to make sure that we've gotten that bite registration correct. Once we've assured that, we can move forward by just clicking the forward arrow down here, and we're going to process the images. The longer we scan, the longer this processing takes. So the average scan should take about 45 seconds per quadrant. And now we've moved into the model phase. We're going to end this video here and come back in our next video and go through all the steps in the model phase.